ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः तस्माद्वा एतस्माद् आत्मन आकाशः सम्भूतः आकाशाद् वायुः वायोरग्निः अग्नेरापः अद्भ्यः पृथिवी पृथिव्या ओषधयः ओषधीभ्योऽन्नम् अन्नात् पुरुषः स वा एष पुरुषोत्तरसमयः. Finally, we are out of the mantra after 48 classes. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhaya. That's how long it took to explain, and with good reason, because we have this, this is the kernel of Vedanta. This is basically what it is, and it is a Mahavakya. So the this is very much in keeping with the. It's extremely very much in keeping with uh, uh, the tradition, because Mahavakya means you are that Brahman, and that's why it took so long. So now it takes off here, and it takes off in a very interesting way. And in fact, I would say that it doesn't take off. It took off when it Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Now it is landing more on the realm of the empirical, which is much more familiar to us. And it is much more, it's more grounding, and it's more grounded, and therefore it is much more familiar to us. So let's see the meaning of this. So, tasmat, from that, tasmat. And then what is that? That, in fact, is this. Tasmat. That's why the Britishers, when they came to India, they needed, Tylenol, which hadn't yet been discovered. Because when they started to look into these Upanishads, they just got a migraine. They didn't know what to do. Come on, make up your mind. Is it from that or is it from this? This means right here. That means from something that's so far away and it doesn't have any, it is remote. Paroksha. This, aparoksha. Then what is this, this and that and this. So they just, they scratched their head, and already they were bothered by the tropical heat because they were used to the humid cold, wearing sweaters in all seasons. And, this is what they were used to, and eating very, what should I say, bland food. And here, hot season, spicy food, and already they were hot and bothered. And then these poor officers of the crown, and they didn't know, they just, it was some kind of in Hindi we call it kala pani saza, meaning, sending these people to some outpost, and perhaps they were not good workers, who knows. And then so as and once you're in the government, you cannot be taken out. Even today the colonial legacy in India is like that. Once you're in the government, you're just there permanently. Even the body may not be permanent, but you are there. And so you haunt those files after departing from the body. So this is how it is. And so these poor officers of the crown, the clerks and the officers, everybody, they were just hot and bothered with all these insects bugging everywhere. And they had an assignment, they have to break the backbone of the people. And the backbone of the people are in these Upanishads. So go find out what this is all about. And they just were like, hi, this is beyond. And they would read, and then there were translations available, Max Muller, etc. They were all, there was spiritually, there was some kind of a renaissance. The Upanishads, were being translated. So many things were being done at this time. And so reading from that, Tasmat, why? Va here is why, because it starts with a Tasmat. So the va is because of the Sandhi. Tasmat, why? A Tasmat. So a Tasmat means what? From this, from that, which is indeed from this. If somebody talks like this and they are not 2 years old, or they're not a toddler, and you just indulge them. You say, oh, will you take more milk in your tea? That's all you can talk about. There's nothing more to talk about. This is madness. That is exactly why the British came to the conclusion. And what was the conclusion? The Upanishads are the prattlings of an infantile mind. This is what they wrote in the report in triplicate. Okay, because that's how they were, all these carbon copies, and then you wrote everything in triplicate. One was filed somewhere, and one went to England, and one was with the person who made this report. So like this, in that particular office, it used to be there. And so because they didn't know what to do. And then somebody asked me, did you feel offended that they called the Upanishads the prattlings of an infantile mind? I said, not at all. I said, not at all. Because they thought that it was safe. It was safe. And they did not see it as a threat. So they did not need to burn the libraries like their predecessors, also colonizers, the Mughal regime had done. They did not feel the need to burn anything. They did not feel the need to destroy anything because they didn't see it as a threat. And this is why it remains for us. And Adi Shankara is intact, and so Adi Shankara will cast the light on what is this Tasmat and Etasmat, and we already have talked about it. This and that is very comfortably used in the same sentence to refer to the same locus, especially if there is a misunderstanding. Like in that story of, which story? Do you remember? Which story?
Devadatta.
Devadatta,
Devadatta and
Somadatta, and Yajnadatta.
Somadatta and
Yajnadatta.
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 yeah, the three fellows, ancient buddies. And then, right from their young days, from the kindergarten days, and then, one of them got separated and then became a Swami, and then was outed after giving a Gita talk. Suddenly he was recognized, and he was, and then the person Yajnadatta, who recognized him, said, "Hey Deva, this Swami is indeed that Somu who used to climb mango trees and steal the neighbors' mangoes." This Swami is our that Somu. That Somu is this Swami. Same thing, same locus, same person. And the words that and this are used comfortably. We do this all the time. Oh, oh, this person was that leader. Oh, this person was in that high office, but now he or she is retired. We do this all the time. But then but then we are not familiar with this because we take it for granted. And so when the Upanishad does it, we are like, what? What is this? And this is indeed that. That refers to Brahman. This refers to I, Atma. So that Brahman, and why is it that Brahman? Brahman will ever, forever be that. Why is it? Because I don't see it. It is not an object of sight. It is not an object of hearing or any of the indriyas. Not at all possible. It is not an object. But then the mind, the word that is also a nod to our self-ignorance, really. Because from the standpoint of the mind wants to grab on to Brahman. And it doesn't see it anywhere locally available. Locally available are all these other things, just like, objects that are tangible. But here Brahman is intangible, invisible, not an object, never objectified. And here is this Brahman, something, you just have to have Shraddha and say, Asti, Kinchit, something is there called Brahman. And then Brahmanama Asti Kinchit, you say, and then that is, that's all. And then what? Then we have the very interesting thing here that Brahman is called that because it's all from the standpoint of oneself. I, who is in search of that Brahman, calls it that Brahman because I cannot wrap my hands around it, I cannot wrap my mind around it. It is not an object of karmendriyas, hands, legs, etc. It's not an object of jnanendriyas, sense organs. And so here it is. So what is this thing? What is this Brahman and how is this, where to find it? That's why it is conveniently tat, that, tasmat. Oh, but that is tat, I understand in Tattvamasi. What is this tasmat? Tasmat is the fifth case of tat. That's all. It's the fifth case. Tasmat, from that, which is not really remote, which is what the Upanishad wants to teach you. Hello, you have just gone through an intense Mahavakya for 48 classes, and so that Brahman is where Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman Vyomni. That Brahman is really is in the cave of the buddhi, in the cave of the heart. This was all talked about very, very nicely. And that Brahman is situated right here. And so it's not never away from you, except under one condition. What is that condition?
Ignorance.
Yes, self-ignorance. I was thinking that somebody will say, oh, except at night. No, not at night or day. It is only under the condition of self-ignorance. It appears to be away without really being away. Appears to be away. That's what. So therefore, Upanishad says that in the second mantra, Tasmat vai etasmat. From that which is actually this. This means what? You, you, who? That's what? You, that is who? Oh, me? Yes. Etasmat atmanah. Atmanah also fifth case. From that Brahman, which is indeed from this you, from this Atma. Okay, so what? Akashah sambhutah. Space it was born. Sambhuta, past participle, so we put it in the past. So space was born. Come on. We have heard many preposterous things, but this really takes the cake. This is just beyond any kind of, beyond any kind of, beyond my ken, beyond any kind of wrapping the brain around this. How is this? I can't create Akasha. Sambhuta. Samyak bhuta. Sambhuta means that some which is there as a prefix means it was so effortlessly, magically, nicely born. White Bhagavad Gita. Paritrāṇāya sadhūnām vināṣāya ca dushkritāṃ dharma samsthapanārthāya what? Sambhavami yuge yuge. Here it is sambhutah, there it is sambhavami, because it is a continued promise by Lord Krishna there in the Bhagavad Gita. And here it is sambhutah, same sam and same bhu dhatu, same thing. Sam plus bhu. There, here it is past passive participle. There it is active, kartari, lat, present. And so therefore, this is very interesting. Bhagavan says, I will effortlessly incarnate myself in each and every yuga. In every yuga, yuge. Why? Dharma samsthapanarthaya. Because people make a mess of dharma. They don't follow dharma, so have to re-establish dharma, righteous living. And then how can that be, how can dharma be established or re-established? By taking care of those people who are not following dharma. That is the only way. You weed out all the bad apples. Because one bad apple, if you have in the whole bushel, you have one bad apple, very soon the rot spreads. So here you weed out the bad apples, and then what? Then after that then you protect the good apples by weeding out the bad apples. Paritranaya sadhunam. Sadhunam means good apples. Really, where is the word apples? That's just a little metaphor. So, so sadhunam, people who, sadhu means parakaryan sadhnoti, people who live for others. Holy people, people who live for others, who are not bothering anybody, who are basically living for others, who help others, who have seva bhava, they are not just consumers. In Puja Swamiji's words, they are contributors. And so such people I will protect by, vinashaya, by, and for the sake of vinashaya, for the sake of destruction of what? Of all the people who do not belong. They don't belong here. And so we take them out, we escort them out of the picture, and then dharma is nicely established, because all that is remaining is people following dharma. It is well and fine for the Lord Krishna to say sambhavami yuge yuge. Of course you will bhavofy yourself, no problem. Why? Because you are Bhagavan. You have all kinds of, you have Ananta Shakti, Ananta Shaktiman, and you have, Ananta Shrihi. You have all resources. You have endless power. You have, Anantam Jnanam. You have endless knowledge. You have no attachment to being Bhagavan. You have Anantam Vairagyam. You have everything. And then, so of course, for you to say, I will reincarnate myself and send these fellows packing, and then send everybody else, to be protected and all this. This is easy. You are the Lord. But here, tasmad va he tasmad atmanaha from me, from good old me. Who, me? Yeah, from you. What? Akashaha sambhutaha. The whole space is born. This is so preposterous. From me, the only thing that is born is a confused mind. That's all that I can give birth to. And confusion daily, on a daily basis, you can count on me for creating confusion. That's all I can do. I can't do anything else. And here the Upanishad is saying that from you, which is Brahman, from that Brahmatma, from that Brahman you, then, the Akasha is born. Oh, but then I also have a birthday. And when I was born, Akasha was already there. So, because I was born in space. If there was no space, then, and space means so many other, the whole establishment has to be there. Space was there, and then gravitational force was there. All this was there. Otherwise, mother would be floating around somewhere. Baby, how is this possible? So therefore, when I was born, I have a birthday. And then perhaps space also has a birthday. But definitely the birthday of space is much, much, much before my birthday. How can you tell me that I am the author of space, even as Brahmatma? How is that possible? Well, that's because from this it is very, very clear that one hasn't understood the meaning of the word Brahmatma. It's very, very clear. And so, therefore, we have to understand it properly. The I here, from which the Akasha is being born, is alluded to as is not centered on the body mind sense complex. Is not centered on the body mind sense complex. Then what is it centered on? It is centered on that Satyam Jnanam Anantam about which we studied. Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. So your Veda means the one who knows. Who knows what? That it is already, it's an already established fact that it is in the buddhi, buddhau, nihitam. So it's not that when you know it suddenly comes and descends and sits in your buddhi, it's already in the buddhi. So the one who recognizes it understands this. So here you have to be very clear, even the one who doesn't recognize it, for that person also, Brahman is in the buddhi or not? Yes, it is in the buddhi. In one instance, it is recognized, so the person is lightened of the burden of thinking, I am karta, bhokta, pramata, all these things. And in the second instance, the Brahman is there, the person is in fact Brahman, but it is unrecognized. This is the only difference. So it's very clear that you, as the body mind sense complex, is in fact you are a product of Akasha. You are not the author of Akasha. We have to switch the standpoints from the Vyavaharika to the Paramarthika, from the empirical to the absolute. From the empirical standpoint, this is preposterous. Oh, you have given birth to Akasha. Come on, you know. How is this possible? I was born in Akasha. Akasha was there. If Akasha was not there, I could not have been born. And so this is very clear that we are not talking of upadhitaha. We are not talking of from the standpoint of the upadhi, from the standpoint of the body, the mind, the senses, this assemblage, this karya karana sanghata, this assemblage of the body, mind, sense complex. We are not talking of that, which is ruled, reigned by the ahankara, the I notion. We are not talking of that. We are talking of something else. We are talking of that indweller, that sakshi, that indweller. And that indweller is indeed this Brahmatma, it is Brahman alone. And so from that Brahman, which is indeed this Atma, that consciousness, that Jnanam is the word that clinches it. That is what makes it a Mahavakya. Jnanam means myself as consciousness. Brahman is nothing but consciousness. It's a consciousness that exists because it cannot be a non-existent consciousness. If it's a non-existent consciousness, then it cannot be, then what's the point of talking about it? It's an existent consciousness, and it happens to be all pervasive and without any limits. And the only way to recognize this consciousness is as I. That's the only way, no other way to recognize consciousness. And that's the only way. And so I am that self recognition, that self evident I, that self what is that called, that self evident I, that self effulgent I. That's the only way to recognize. That is the essence of the word jnanam, the I know, which never turns into I do not know. In fact, I know that I do not know. This is the beauty of that jnanam. That jnanam which never becomes ajnanam. In fact, that jnanam is not even opposed to ajnanam. It will shine the light on even your ajnana. Whether it is anatma ajnanam, whether it is the ajnana of anatma, like I don't know Greek. This is anatma. Greek is anatma. I don't know Greek. Or I don't know Atma. Even that it shines the light on, which sends, the person scurrying to look for teacher, to look for classes, to attend and to remove this ajnanam centered on the I. This is the beauty of it. And so it's very clear. It's not from the standpoint of this, what is that called? It is not from the standpoint of the body, mind, sense complex. Tasmad vai, tasmat atmanah. That atma means jnanam, satyam jnanam anantam, which is Brahman, which is nihitam guhayam, which is oneself alone. And from that, akashah sambhutah. From that, the space was born. And more about the word some very quickly, very soon. Akashad Vayu, Vayuhu. From that, space, Vayu was born. And from Vayu, Akashad Vayu, Vayoho Agnihi. From Vayu, fire was born. Agnehe Apaha. From fire, water was born. In fact, fire gave birth to its own nemesis, and so very interesting. And then, and then from water, earth was born. So you see, there is a chronology, there is a krama, there is a very systematic chronology, of these five elements. So you go from the subtlest to the grossest. This is a prakriya. It's the same prakriya that has been adopted by the Tattva Bodha. Tattva Bodha also has the same prakriya, and it explains all that. And so, if you haven't studied Tattva Bodha, it's a good text to study because it gives a lot of background information, and so it's very, very nice. So then here the tasmad vai etasmad atmanah. So from these five elements have come, within quotes, have come from this consciousness alone. Now, that's why the word sambhuta is there, because in that word sam, we have a nod to Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti is because of that the whole Jagat has come. And we have to add a word. Sam means as though. Sambhuta, as though come. Perfect spoof. It looks real. You can touch it, you can feel it, you can smell it, you can see it. You can do all kinds of things with it. You can cut it up, you can destroy it, or any object in the universe. You can transform it into something else. All these things you can do. And then what? But it is as though it enjoys an as though existence. Sambhuta. That sam means mithya. This mithya bhutam jagat has come from this Brahmatma, from I alone. The whole Jagat is not separate from this I as consciousness. The entire Jagat is just a projection of this consciousness, as it were. Nothing is away from me. The earth, the sky, the waters, the air. Waters means what? Ocean, ponds, lakes, everything. Nothing is away from me. Nothing is other than me. Nothing is like me. I am unique because all the things that have come, they need to be cognized by this consciousness alone. The singular non-dual source of sentience cognizes all these things. The karya has to be cognized by me, the pramatru, the knower. The karya is cognized. And then, and then I am non-separate from the karana. I'm non-separate from the karya. Because the karya itself is mithya bhuta. Mithya bhuta we saw in the previous class. That which is, and as though reality, that which is a dependent reality, it is dependent on Sat for its existence. Mithya means it only gives name and form. That's only its contribution. Whereas the essence of that very thing is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. The essence of everything is Satyam Jnanam Anantam in the whole universe. And so, therefore, what? So, therefore, this is something so beautiful. Therefore, we have to see that I am not alienated from anything. I am connected to the five elements in many ways. I'm connected even at the level of the empirical mithya body, mithya mind. The five elements are coursing through the body. Bones are there, and that's the earth element. That's why they go back to the earth. Earth is equal to bones. Then Vayu element, and that is there. There is a resonance with the Vayu, and Vayu is there, and then sound is there, and fire is there. All of them are present in the body. Fire is present as 98.6 normal temperature. That is the fire. And water is present, fire is present, air is present, space is of course present. Where is the space? Right here. Okay, so that's where the space resides. And so therefore it's just so beautiful, it's just amazing. So where is the alienation? Where is the sorrow? You see, you don't even have to go to Anandam. What is that? Yeah, Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat. You don't even have to go that far. You don't have to go to the next Valli to come to this conclusion. You can see right here, there is no more confusion when one recognizes oneself as, as non-separate from this whole vast, beautiful, colorful, and then that which gives the Jagat its tattva, its meaning, is that Satyam Jnanam Anantam alone, which is myself, which is non-separate from myself. This is so nice, very beautiful. Where is the alienation? Where is the pain? Where is the sorrow? Where is the fear? Where is anything? All gone. In one fell swoop, they are all gone. And so therefore, this is why it gives this whole chronology of creation. As I have mentioned many times, the purport is not in trying to find out what came and what came next. Many theologies get caught up in this. On the first day, something was created. On the second day, or kuch aya. On the third day, something else came. On the fourth day, something came. Fifth day, something came. Sixth day, ayyo, I forgot to put light. And then light came. And then seventh day, thak gaya. Bhagavan got tired and it was a day of rest. Something like this. It's metaphorically nice. Can't take it literally. Metaphorically nice, because then Bhagavan is just one of us, because we also have a work week, and then we are very tired at the end of the end of the week, and then you crash. You don't get out of bed at all on Saturday, Sunday, like this. This is it's nice to, what should I say? It's nice to it's nice to transfer that also to Bhagavan so that you can relate. That's nice. That's okay. But then, as a form of relationship and prayer, it's okay. But here, we're not interested in this. We're not interested in what came first. Oh, Akasha came first. I have to make a note, Akasha. And then after that, Vayu, I better, what should I memorize all this? It's not, we're not committed to that. We are not Srishtivadina, Srishtivadins. And this one, tomorrow I'll find some quotes from what is that, Gauda Padacharya, the grand guru of Adi Shankara, who openly calls these people Srishtivadins. Srishtivad, because that's where their commitment is. The commitment is to the Srishti, and you'll find this in a lot of pantheistic philosophies as well. Like this came and that came, and because and the problem here, I mean, other than metaphorical, if you take it literally, the problem is that everything becomes as real as the one cognizing it. Sad but true. And when that happens, then Vedanta is gone. Then there's two things. There's not one thing. And so Vedanta is gone. Vedanta is no longer there as long as you're starting to talk about this, what is that? The everything is as real as I. Then Vedanta is gone. You have two things, you have multiple things. So two means you and not you. That's all. That's all is enough. And that not you is plenty and you are outnumbered. And this becomes the cause of fear. Udaram antaram kurute athatasya bhayam bhavati. Ut aram antaram kurute. Even if you make the slightest razor thin difference between yourself and another, that is the cause of fear. And elsewhere, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad elsewhere states, Dvaitadhi bhayam bhavati. From Dvaita alone is fear. And two Upanishads have talked about this. And so, what else is there to say? What more is there to say? And so, therefore, the purport of the Upanishad is not to create this pretty picture of creation and then Prakriti. And it's not the Shruti is not a Prakriti, Vadi or the Vadini, we should say, or it is not some kind, it's not, what should I say, committed to, to, to Srishti. It is not committed to Srishti. The Upanishad is not that at all. The Upanishad is committed to oneness. The Upanishad is committed to revealing you as non-separate from everything that you see. And the Upanishad is committed to and why is it committed to oneness? Because it is really, really, truly committed to cutting your sorrow and your fear permanently. It wants to sever you from your depression. It wants to sever you from your confusion. It wants to sever you from your sorrow. That is its only commitment. It's not really interested in anything else at all. Not at all. And so therefore, therefore, we are not interested in some kind of a order of the creation, although the order has been given. Order has been given here. From the subtlest to the grossest, there is some krama that is being followed. But then a lot, if you really want to look at the, what should I say, the small things here, many things are missing. Straight away, Akasha has come. Akasha means what? The gross Akasha. Panchikrita Akasha. And Akasha that has undergone a grossification straight away has come. Whereas, if you look at the Chandogya Upanishad that we have just finished studying the Bhashya there it was Imaha Tisro Devataha, these three Devatas, and there were only three elements that were used. And then each one, the whole Panchikaranam was talked about. Panchikaranam means, first there are these subtle elements, Tanmatras. And out of these Tanmatras, the gross Akasha, Vayu, Agni, etc. come through a very ingenious way. So like if we are talking of Akasha, how is the gross Akasha that we can sense? What is how does it come about? And so the Shastra will say, Chandogya says this, and other places also it is said. Well, what will the Shastra say? The Shastra will say half is Akasha, half is the subtle Akasha, and to this subtle Akasha, one eighth of the other four elements. Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi. And then what? And then you make a salad, you make a khichdi or a salad, something, you mix it nicely. It's all in the stirring, okay? And then when you stir it correctly, Akasha is born. This is the Akasha that we know, the gross, the tangible Akasha is born. I mean, Akasha itself is intangible, but it is through sound that we recognize space. So it is still objectifiable with difficulty, but it is objectifiable. And so the tangible Akasha is born, and then but the Tan Matra is very subtle. It's of no use at all. It cannot do anything. And then similarly, if you ask what is Vayu, the Vayu that you know when you blow when it blows, and when you go with your hand like this, or even like when in a extreme situation, that hurricane Ian, which is not which is keeping on having new avatars, and this one very strong one, full of so much. How is that Vayu? What is that? What is the antecedent of this Vayu? That Vayu was just a Tan Matra subtle form. And from the subtle Vayu, half of it, and the other one fourth, one eighth, one eighth, one eighth, one eighth. And then you have Vayu. This is how each and every element is. So no element is by itself really. It has all the other four elements somehow mixed into it, and very sophisticated and a deep recognition of this whole for five elements. And so this is called Panchikaranam, where all five are present in one thing. Then how do you distinguish? How can you say how can you say this is Akasha? Well, it doesn't seem like Akasha to me. It's got Vayu little bit, it's got this, it's got that, it's got that. It's like some, Bhel Puri. It's got like every little thing. It's got sweet, it's got sour, it's got a few raw vegetables like tomatoes and everything. It's got a little bit of crunchy things. It's got a little bit of soggy, soft sauces. Everything it has. And so, why do you say Akasha? Then it's no longer Akasha. Well, there is this nirdharanam, this ascertainment is done in the Brahma Sutra. Vaisheshyat tadvadas tadvadah. There is one sutra. Vaisheshyat tu tadvadah. And the other tadvadah is to show that prakarana samapti, to show that it's the end of that particular segment. And so Vaisheshyat tu tadvadah. Tadvadah means it is a vada here is not a discussion or a dialogue or a argument. Vada here means name. Vaisheshyat tu tadvadah. Tu means indeed because of the Vishesha. Vishesha means uniqueness, the specialness. Because you see, if you're talking of gross Akasha, out of this gross Akasha means what? Gross Akasha means it has one eighth, one eighth, one eighth of all the other elements. Correct? Yes. And then it is half Akasha. So the one eighth is common for all the five elements. Each one has one eighth of all the others. But what is the Vishesha? Half is Akasha. That is Vishesha. Half is Akasha. And so because of this, because a predominance, a preponderance of Akasha, it is called Akasha. Vaisheshya tu tadvadaha. Brahma Sutra. So the Brahma Sutra puts an end to any kind of a nomenclature here, because it says that this is exactly why it is going to be named Akasha, Vayu, and so forth. That is, this is exactly why it's going to be named like this, because of the Vishesha. So then, so we have and Adi Shankara is going to take it up, but just to introduce this mantra a little more before we see the Bhashya for this. It says that, what does it say? It says that there is a krama. And what is the krama? From the subtlest to the grossest. How do we decide what is subtle? How do we decide what is gross? How do we decide that? It's all from the standpoint of the cognizer, the I. The conscious being here is right in the center of the picture. I am in the center of the picture, and whatever I can cognize without, with my sense organs, effortlessly, with many sense organs at the same time, is the definition is called gross. That is what is called gross. Whereas when I can cognize something with fewer and fewer sense organs, it becomes subtle. Akasha. How to cognize Akasha? You go to, that's why, children like to go to these echo points. Hello, you say, and then it comes back. Hello. That's Akasha. So, space and sound, there is a synergy. Space is recognized through sound. And in fact, that becomes the reason for so many, what's the word for it, the scientific discoveries. All these planets, the planets are in space. And all the planets that we know, the 8 planets, Pluto was demoted a few years ago. It's no longer a planet. It's a glorified asteroid. But anyhow, somewhere a hanger on. But these 8 planets, and then in the solar system, we are not even talking about that, but we are talking about so many planets. In fact, we find ourselves in very crowded company, it turns out. And then how do we sense that them? Because they are because they are occupying space. Akasha. We can sense the Akasha by sending some what is that? Some radio frequencies. We can send, and then we can see how the atmosphere behaves, and then through that we infer the volume, the mass of that planet. We can infer the atmosphere. Too hot, don't bother doing research on this, because we'll never be able to go there and live, because if we ever mess up even further the earth. And so, like this, no, the other one is too cold. I mean, who will want to live on Saturn? No one. And so, too cold. So, we need something neither too hot nor too cold. That's why we got the expression Goldilocks planets. And so, and then we can sense these, because we can sense them in space. And then again, we are also understanding, we are also not just sending out these radio waves, we are receiving the radio waves in bursts. What are they called? They are called far radio waves or something like that, they are called. And these far bursts of radio waves, they are keeping on coming. And you don't know, and you don't know who is sending them literally, or what is causing them to come, but then you do know from where they are coming. You see that space and sound are so much connected. So space is cognized by by only the ears, one sense organ. And then Vayu, two sense organs. Ear, of course, inheres, and then what else? Show at least one sign of life.
Skin touch.
Touch. Because especially if you wet your hands and and go like this, and you can touch the air. Then after that, Vayoho Agnihi. Agni, you add one more sense. Which one is this?
Rupa.
Sight.
Form. Rupa.
Sight. Sight. It has rupa, yes, but then sight. So to cognize rupa, we need sight. So it has sight, and then after that, water, cognizable by four of the five senses. What is that? Which is the one you add now?
Tongue.
Taste.
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 Taste. The sense of taste. But then, so taste means what? Water has no taste. Aha, that is its taste. That no taste is the taste. That is the Vishesha. And so the taste of this, what is that? The taste of the taste is associated with water. That is its specific guna. Each one has a specific guna. And then finally the earth. What is specific to earth?
Smell.
Smell.
Smell. And Gandhavati Prithivi. Do not translate it as the smelly earth. Okay, that will be a great disservice. So, Gandhavati Prithivi means the earth that has that is recognizable by that earthen smell. That smell of the earth. That is what it is. And especially after a hot summer's day, there is a thunder shower, and that smell is that of the earth. The earth has that smell. And so, like this, we have the specific gunas of each and every element, and we have the chronology, a kind of an order, a krama, from the subtlest to the grossest. And why do we do the subtle first? Because the subtle one, from that alone, is something else is born, something else is born, something else is born. Sambhutaha, sambhutaha. And again, now we come to the discussion of Maya Shakti. That word sam, is Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti means it is that because of which Brahman gains the epithet of creator. Gains the epithet of creator. And then so when we talk of Brahman as consciousness, there is no creation. It is incapable of creation. It need not create. There is nothing other than itself. There is nothing there to create. There is nothing to create at all. And so therefore what? So therefore there's no need to create. There's nothing to create. It's just that. And so therefore when we talk of creation, we have to bring in a kind of an as though Shakti. And as though Shakti, because if we say we are bringing in a Shakti, that Shakti becomes a parallel reality to Brahman. And that is not, again, we have two. Each time we want one, we keep ending up with two. You and not you. And then Brahman and Maya, all these things. So therefore, the care here to introduce this Maya, to introduce this element which is Kalpita Shakti. Kalpita means a visualized and as though element. And that is when we can use the Panchami. We can use the Panchami Vibhakti. Tasmad Etasmad. Atmanah Akashah Sambhutaha, tasmat, from that. Dhruvam apaye apadanam. So that tasmat, see, this is, what did I say? I just, said the, what is that called? The sutra, Paninian sutra for the Panchami, this Panchami Vibhakti, for the apadana karaka. In the somewhere in the second chapter, I think so, it will come. And so dhruvam apaye apadanam. And this is how he defines the fifth case. He says dhruvam means from that which is unchanging, that something else that comes. That is what is that unchanging thing is in the fifth case. Very interesting. Like, see, even in our regular grammar, vrikshat phalam patati. Vrikshat phalam patati. From the tree, no, phalam is not leaf. What is phalam? Fruit. The fruit falls where? From the tree. So then what is falling? The fruit. But more importantly, what is not falling? The tree. The tree right now is not falling, it's not being felled. The tree is not falling. So from the non-falling tree, the falling fruit is seen. This, and so Panini was a Vedantin, really, it's very, very clear. So he catches hold of that which is certain, that which is unchanging. So from that, the changing things have come. And so there are two sutras. One of them is this. Another one also we'll see a little later. But then both of them talk about this in this very, very interesting way. So then, so what are we interested in? Are we interested in that which has come? Or are we interested in that which is stationary still and which is non-separate from you? We are interested in that. And so therefore, tasmat, just like vrikshat, tasmat, tasmat. From this atmanaha, from this atma. And this atma which is unchanging, which is dhruvam. Dhruvam means which is still, which is not going anywhere, not undergoing any change at all. And without undergoing any change, this is the kind of a causeless cause here. And so the Panchami is used because it's a hetu. It's the, dhruvam apaye apadanam. That's what it is. And so this is a karana. So this karanatvam praptam. For whom? Brahmana, for Brahman. So a kind of an as though imbued causality. A kind of a superimposed, if you will have it, causality. And then what is that agent? Or what is that so-called agent that gives Brahman this new avatara? That is what is Maya Shakti. That is what is Maya Shakti. And so really the sutra dhruvam apaye apadanam, carefully put by Panini somewhere in the middle of the Ashtadhyayi, is a nod to this. It's a prayer to Bhagavan, who is Dhruvam, so it's a prayer in the middle of the work. Very, very important. It's a prayer in the middle of the work, and then. So therefore, so even in this, vrikshat phalam patati, the vriksha, the tree, is dhruva. And the phala, the fruit, gets separated and falls down. And so therefore, the vriksha will be in that which is dhruva, will be in Panchami. That is apadanam. And then it is apadane panchami. This is what it is. And so this this apadana samnya is there. So it is the name called apadanam. And then so then there is one more sutra. What is that? Janikartuhu prakritihi. Janikartuhu. So means for the prakriti is the karana. The karana is that which undergoes, that janikarta, the janikartru. Jayate. Jayate means is born. Something is born. And so, tasya, for that, jayamanasya, for that which is being born, then, and for that which is being born, you use the material cause, you use Panchami Vibhakti, that is what he says. So then, here, why are these two sutras important? Because we have the causation of the Jagat is seen from two standpoints. The causation of the Jagat is seen from the standpoint of knowledge. Because this any creation begs knowledge, even if it's a simple pot. Only simple to look at, not so simple if you look at it, not so simple if you try your hand at it. And Pujya Swamiji, when he first he was very curious about pots and everything, and so somebody took him to a potter's wheel and then in a little cottage and then put him there along with clay. And then instead of making a pot, he made a purse. Means it all folded it all folded in like this. And then apparently he said this is not as simple as it looks. And because when the potter would make it, you just make a ball and then throw it and then you just shape it and then keep changing the shape. It looks so effortless, but obviously there's a lot of skill. And that skill is what? Knowledge. Knowledge of how to make the pot. So this is causation from the standpoint of knowledge. There is knowledge. In a simple pot, even there is knowledge involved. And in the Jagat, it is very clear knowledge is very involved. How can there be Jagat without knowledge? Wherever you see, there is knowledge. Knowledge of planets, knowledge of sun, knowledge of moon, knowledge of water, and knowledge of hurricane, how it behaves, under what circumstances it comes, and how it is connected to climate change. All this is knowledge, nothing but knowledge. Knowledge, 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 all the way. And so this is what is called nimitta karanam. From the causation, from the standpoint of knowledge, looks a certain way, and it's just Bhagavan's knowledge spread, not really thin, spread thick and evenly on the whole Jagat. Like a generously buttered toast, like that. Very nice. No shortage of this knowledge anywhere. It's dripping with knowledge. And you can just see Bhagavan wherever you see this, wherever you are in touch with this knowledge, you are having darshan of Bhagavan. And whatever you say is, whatever you say is, you use the word is to describe whatever is there. As soon as you say the word is, you are in touch with Sat existence. And when you say, I know this, oh, this is why this flower behaves like this. Oh, it has these bright petals in order to attract butterflies and bees so that it can pollinate and so that it is a survival mechanism so that it will live on. Yeah, but why does it have these serrated edges? Well, it has these serrated edges because it grows in these windy areas and so that the petals are not ripped apart. It's all knowledge. It's all just so perfect. The Jagat is just so perfect. Nothing wrong anywhere. It's just perfect. And if I find that there is something wrong and the vision needs adjustment, the vision needs for the scales of Ajnanam to be scraped off. In the cataract operation called Upanishad study, that is the cataract operation. And this has to be scaled, the cataracts of distorted vision have to be scaled back to reveal the truth. And so this whole Jagat is Sat Chit, Sat Chit, Sat Chit, and spread out like anything. Never ending Jagat, Ananda, Ananta. And then this is from the standpoint of all knowledge. Everything is just shining, brimming with knowledge, none separate from that Sat, none separate from that Nimitta Karana. This is Nimitta Karana, causation. causality seen from the standpoint of knowledge. Then we have another standpoint, which is one is from the knowledge skill standpoint, the other one is from the material itself. Because the material you can touch and hold and have, and you can eat and drink, and you can do all kinds of things with the material. And it is real in the sense that I can objectify it. It has color. It is undeniable, really. The material cannot be denied. It's not going anywhere. How can you deny the material? It is there. Why? Because I see it. This is something that is that is admissible even in a court of law. It is admissible. I saw it with my own eyes, Your Honor. It exists. This person is there. He may be on the lam, but he's there. And I saw him. He went through these bushes. He went that way. I can tell. It is real. You cannot unsee something. It is there. It is not a figment of your imagination. It is there. Why? Because everybody sees this. So the empirical reality, is there. You can do things with it. You can transform it. You can make it less in one place and more in one place. You can change it. Like your bank account, you take money from one account and put it to another. And then you see, oh, this account looks very good. Well, don't look at the other account, okay? Then you'll feel bad. So this is how it is. You can do all kinds of things in the Jagat. You can manipulate the things to your own comfort. The air you can manipulate and call it fan and call it air conditioning. And then you can manipulate the sun and then take a bath and call solar energy and solar water heater. And then you can do all kinds of things with the elements. And so that means what? They are available for transaction and manipulation. So they are there. You cannot deny them. Well, we say you cannot affirm them either. This is what has to be understood alongside. You cannot deny them, theek hai, all right. But that's only partial knowledge, and we know that half knowledge is dangerous. And so the other half of this understanding is, yes, it's true, it cannot be denied, but it cannot be affirmed either, singularly affirmed as a reality in itself, because it sends you on a mind-bending journey to nowhere. What is this? Oh, this is cake. Oh, cake, wonderful. Yippee, I love cake. And then what is the cause of this cake? Flour from this, from this atta, cake was done. And what is the cause of this flour? And this flour is from this flour is from wheat. And then what is the cause of wheat? Oh, the crop called wheat. And the wheat, berry. Okay, where is the berry? The berry is on the stalk. What is the stalk? Oh, now you're stalking the wheat. And yes, you're just going after it. Yes. And then, so what is the cause of the stalk? Wheat berry. And then what is the cause of the wheat berry? Stalk. And then what is this? Now you have to really take stock of your own argument. What are you going to do? It's just going round and round. You're in an infinite regress. Or you just say with blind faith everything has come from Brahman, and then just say, okay, no problem. No problem there. That Shraddha is there. Okay, nice. So this is how, it cannot be denied, all right. You cannot deny the universe. You cannot deny the Jagat, but you cannot affirm it either. Non-affirmable, non-deniable is this Jagat. Non-affirmable, non-deniable. It's in between existence and total non-existence. That's why it has got a special name which no other thing has. Mithya. The whole universe is called Mithya. Cannot be affirmed, cannot be denied, and is non-separate from its truth, Satyam. These are the two definitions. And so the causality is from two standpoints. One is from the standpoint of the absolute, which is all knowledge, and then from the standpoint of the material. which is the projection from the standpoint of the empirical reality. And that's where it is called, it is called this upadana karana. Nimitta karana. Nimitta means that which is the knowledge, all knowledge, and upadana karanam. And this is the so therefore tasmat atmanah sakashat what akashah sambhutah satyajnanananda lakshanat atmaswarupat brahmanah. From this satyajnana ananta lakshana, and which is in the form of Atma, which is Brahman, which is non-separate from Atma, alone is the Akasha born. So you see, there is the Nimitta Karana, there is the intelligence behind this Akasha. I mean, how to make Akasha? Nobody can make Akasha. You can be spaced out, but you cannot make space. You cannot do that at all. And then so there is a material there, which is recognizable only by one particular sense organ, the sound. And so therefore, usually when you have some kind of a object that you can make, like cake or pot, it has these two causes are separate. They are not located, they are not non-separate. So the raw material is elsewhere, and the skill is the skill is elsewhere. For instance, when you buy the pot, as I have told you many times, you don't bring home the potter and their spouse and their children and their toys and their pets. You don't bring home all of them. But then in the Jagat, we have this funny situation where the skill and the knowledge and the material, they have the same locus. That's why it is called abhinna, non-separate, non-different upadana karanam and nimitta karanam. Upadana karanam means the relative cause, the raw material, from the standpoint of the raw material. How can it be the same? How can it become nimittam and upadanam at the same time? Because it's from two different standpoints, the same thing is looked at. Swa upadhi pradhanataya upadhanam and swapradhanataya nimittam. Same thing. Maya is the upadhi here. This is what we have to say, because here the Upanishad doesn't discuss Maya, whereas we have this in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Shvetashvatara Upanishad is very important because it discusses, it calls Maya out. Mayantu prakritim vidyat mahinam cha maheshwaram samayi srijate tyahuhu. Samayi srijate. So, mayam tu prakritim vidyat. Maya is the material. But then there is that knowledge that Ishvara is, which is non-separate from Ishvara. Of course, the material is also non-separate from Ishvara. That's the whole point here. Don't think the material is separate. The material is Ishvara. Ishvara is not the material. This is what we have to say. And so that Ishvara, which is which is non-separate from the material, is the maker as well. It's the maker and the material residing in one conscious being. Abhinna nimitta upadana karanatvam. Imbued with a causality residing in one conscious being. Very, very beautiful. And so, therefore, we have two words here, Maya and Mayin. And then, of course, if a very shallow reading of this, you'll say Maya, feminine, Mayin, masculine. Okay, so it's just like a regular marriage. And so here the Mayi means the wielder, the knower of Maya. So naturally he is more important than her. Terrible translation, and don't go there at all. Because here the words are masculine and feminine is just a grammatical event It is not something to be, it's not something to say this is man and this is woman, Maya is woman and all this. No. In fact, they are non-separate from one another. All that is there is one Brahman, which has now a imbued causality, and because of which it has gained the epithet of Bhagavan. And no Bhagavan is separate from Bhagavati. The two are one. How? Tune in tomorrow to find out. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaga Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.